Welcome back everybody to another episode of Skid's Garage, and today I'm giving the interior of my orange panel van a clean. So let's tackle into it and let's see how dirty it really is. So let's get into it. What I want to do is put my vacuum cleaner to the test, vacuum out the interior. You can see how grotty it is, and it's pretty dark back there, but it's grotty. You'll see exactly how grotty it is when I get stuck into it. So I'm thinking I'm going to pull these seats out so I can get better access, clean it all up, because the plan is to clean all this up, paint it all with rust converter paint, and then that sheet metal I've got, I'm literally going to do the dodgy of getting it bent up and cut into shape for the floor, and I'm just tech screwing it in. So as you can see, the floor is, what floor? There is no floor. That side's even worse. So I'm going to tech screw it all in, just into the sides, so hopefully I can fold it up and tech screw it into here, and into in there, hopefully up into the firewall a bit, hopefully just enough to get me by, and yeah, we'll see how we go. So while I still got some daylight, let's pull these seats out and see what we can find inside. Okay, so I've unsecured this unsecured this seat. Should come out. I want you to share the experience with me in seeing what's under here. So as you can see, the seats have seen better days. And there we go. There is just 10 tons worth of crap. Nothing of worthiness. I'm finding a lot of, I remember when I first picked it up, there was heaps of irrigation pipe. And now I'm finding even more pieces. Oh, that's some sort of bottle cap. So, who knows what the history of this car is. Be kind of cool to get in contact with a previous owner that can actually tell me what the deal with this is, but it's pretty ratted out, because even whilst doing this seat, I had a look at the roof, and up here, let me get in there, it's a bit hard to see, but this broke off because the roof, I had a look, all under here is just all rusted out. There's no actual roof skin from what I could see. Well, there's little bits, but very little. So even the roof is rusted out. So this is one big reason why I'm not overly, I don't want to spend too much on this. I want to get it running, driving and whatever else, and maybe even do a dodgy spin around the block, but I don't really want to put too much effort into this. It's bloody well ratted out. Anyway, that is the driver's seat. Let's see what we find under the passenger seat. So it's the same deal with the passenger side. I'll just get in here and pull the seat out. Oh, well, the seat's in fact broken. Looks like rats have been living in here. What I might do is just throw it over here and give you a look at what I'm working with on the passenger side. That there is filth. Looks like there's been some rats or mice or whatever in here. Yeah, not looking great. So I'm going to see about cleaning this out and seeing what's under this carpet. So I'm going to start by removing all the big chunks and then giving it a good vacuum. So this will definitely put my new vacuum cleaner in for a good test. So just getting stuck into chucking everything, all the bits and pieces I want into here. First thing I pick up is this. It's a condom. So someone's been using this panel van for good purpose. Doesn't even look open, to be honest. Look at that, still sealed. I'd like to get a date on that. I'm sure I'll be able to get an idea, get a few dates to this van. Otherwise, that's that. Doesn't look like there's much else interesting. That's an old, oh, here we go, here's a date. Used by 25th of June. Doesn't actually have a year. Doesn't look like there's an old, very old label, that's for sure. If I find a date on it, I will share. Otherwise, I'll continue sussing out this mess. So I'll see yous when I've tidied this up. So here's another interesting find. This appears to be an old Ready6 sticker, and all I recall is, I know they used to have round ones, like circle ones, which like this, but I only remember the rectangle ones. So this is really old. Don't know how old. I can't read anything on it, but that gives you an idea probably how long it's been off the roads for. That was one of probably the Ready6 stickers that used to be on this, and it's an old round one. So I'm still looking around trying to find some dates. I found an old bread bag, tried to find some dates on it but couldn't. So find some interesting stuff, nothing massively interesting. The fringers are probably the most interesting thing so far, but otherwise I'll keep digging about and see if I find anything else cool to share. So giving the passenger side just a quick once over to see what I could find. And on this side, I found, what's that there? Adelaide Alive. It looks like a Formula 1 car. So maybe it was around the era when, before Melbourne took the Formula 1 from Adelaide. Maybe that's a key ring regarding that. But I've got a key to a Yamaha. And a Yamaha City. Don't even know if they're still in operation or not. Who knows? Haven't actually taken the time to look. But yeah, if anyone's missing keys to their Yamaha, let me know, because I've got them. Otherwise, not a lot of interesting stuff found this side. Did find a coin, and on the back it says, let's have a look. Hard to see, but it says 94. So 1994. So I guess if that's anything to go off, it's yeah. It's because I suspect that this hasn't been running or driving probably much after 95. So I guess that's, if I found a coin or something after 95, maybe that would suggest that someone was in here messing about with the car or driving it or doing something with it after 95. But being 94, yeah, 90 still suggests that 95 is a good date to work off in regards to when this was last, I don't know, running, driving, used, whatever. So let's get the vacuum cleaner on this and clean it up a bit more. One other thing I find interesting, there's heaps of this red dust. I don't think it's like dirt. To me, that looks like desert dirt or something. I don't know. It's definitely not sand from a beach, I don't think. But yeah, that dirt is just throughout the whole car. So maybe there's a possibility this was panic bashed before its final resting place, before I picked it up. It's definitely something that if I took it off the road and it was still running and driving, I'd panic bash it for a while until it stopped running. So who knows? But yeah, that's what I found. It wasn't as interesting as I was expecting, but still pretty cool. So let's get the vacuum cleaner on it and see if I can tidy this up a little bit more. Then we'll see what's under the carpet. Okay, so this is what we're working with. This is just a quick vacuum. Looking much nicer. Floor is all intact back there. Oh, there's a bit of rust there in the wheel well. Otherwise, it's not too bad. The fronts are really bad, but that's... anyone that knows Escorts knows this is pretty common for them. I haven't really seen too many, well, at least in Australia, I haven't seen too many this bad. But they're obviously out there because I've got one. And this is the passenger side. So it didn't come up too bad at all, considering what I was working with. And that's the back there. Doesn't look like there's too much rust or anything back there. So, pretty decent. So, I'm actually quite impressed with the job my little Ozito vacuum cleaner did. A little 10 litre portable battery powered one. If you're looking for something to do your cars and stuff with, I highly recommend it. It only cost me 90 bucks. And if it can clean this as this good, it's definitely worth the money. So, I'm going to get into removing this carpet and seeing what we're working with underneath. So I took the crusty carpet out, and there's nothing exciting under there. Little bit of rust, and heaps of this sand again. what that sand is. There's rocks and stuff in it too, so don't know what that sand is. As I said, I reckon it was just paddock bashed for a little bit. Over there, even more sand. And it would have just been coming up through these holes here. So, yeah, I reckon it's just been getting beaten on in a paddock or something. But the back half's relatively sound. And nothing exciting found. So, I'm going to get into vacuuming this, and then we're pretty much done cleaning the inside. From there, I need to just make up some dodgy plates to cover up the floors. So let's keep poking along with it. So that's the floor vacuumed. Not perfect. A lot better than what it was. So you can see that's mainly surface rust. Rust in that corner. It's not too bad through here. Nothing a good clean and paint won't fix, other than that gaping hole right there. This side, not so good. It's pretty well rusted all the way through here. It's thinned the metal right out. Big gaping hole. Otherwise, the rest is pretty good. Even through here, that's nice and solid. So that's, yeah, the condition of the floor. Disregard the front. So I'm going to tuck the seats back in. I'm not going to worry about putting the carpet back in, because the carpet's just some, it's all rolled up and I've thrown it in the back. But it's just crusty old house carpet that's been some offcuts that have been cut up to fit, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm just going to chuck the seats in with the van as it is. Now I want to paint pretty much the cabin, all the floor and everything. I want to paint black, just because to stop any further rust. So with that rust converter, some black rust converter. But I needed to probably give it an actual clean, like an actual mop, or get a sponge onto it or something. Tidy it up that little bit more. So that won't be a job for today. And I want it painted before I chuck these the sheet metal in to cover up the floor. So that's that for the interior. Running out of time because it's starting to get dark. Okay, so it's getting dark. These seats took a little bit longer than I thought to get in. They proved to be difficult, but anyway, they're in. I end up finding, don't know how easy you can see that, but that's all rusted out up there. So yeah, not ideal. My sun visor fell off. Like, I accidentally knocked it, it fell off. And yeah, I took that roof lining out because it was completely sun damaged and everything. See how that's supposed to be there? This side, there's nothing. It's hard to see. Camera's blurring up a bit, but anyway. Let's see if we can focus a little bit. So, not sure if that helps at all. But yeah, you get the idea. So that's all rusted out. Don't know how that rusts out, but it has. So nowhere to mount the rear view mirror, nowhere to mount the sun visor or anything. So just another thing to add to this, rust bucket. But anyway, that'll do us. So I've cleaned the inside out. Plans there are to paint it and then look at just tech screwing some floors in. For the meantime, a few other bits and pieces I need to do in there as well, but that's the main parts at the moment. Welcome back, everybody. And today we are going to get stuck into covering up some of this rust. So my plan is to just use some sheet metal and tack screw it in just to cover it up, just to get me home where I can actually do a proper repair on it. So I have made up a template, and so how's it go? Goes something like that. Anyway, I've made a template out of cardboard, which I'm going to put down onto this sheet metal. Got a bit excited and I already cut it in half for the two sides. And using that template, I'm going to mark out what should fit on the floor. The template seems to fit nicely, so fingers crossed I can make this sheet metal work. Then I should have some floors good enough to get it home, but then with the intentions of actually doing something much better than what I'm about to do. So let's get stuck into marking out these panels and getting them ready to test fit into the car. So here I've cut up one of those sheets of metal, and this is how it fits in. So there's going to be a lot of critics because this isn't an ideal way of going about business, but it's pretty much my only option at the moment if I want to try driving this home, where I can actually do better repairs on it. But this should get me home and stop me from actually losing my feet or having random crap flicked up from the road. So it's nice and firm. That's gonna work perfect for what I want. So from here, I'm just gonna tack screw it into place. So just along the sides there, along the back, along that side, and then just up the top there. I'm just gonna tack screw in, and that'll be the floor done for the meantime. And as I said, I just want to emphasize this is only supposed to be temporary, and I don't advise this to be a permanent fix for anyone, but it's significantly better than have a completely rotted out floor and losing your feet, having crap flicked up at you. It's just not ideal. So anyway, that's that. Let's tack screw it in and we'll have our temporary floor put in. Okay, so there you have it. The floor is in, tack screwed in. I'm going to chuck a couple more tack screws in, but that's just got it into place. And I can use the pedals nicely, and that should do the trick. So that's that side done, other than actually putting in more tack screws, but I'm going to progress onto the other side and see about getting that done, which should be a bit more interesting because that other side's a lot more rusty. So we'll see how well it fits. So let's move on to the other side. And just like that, the passenger's piece has been put in. As you can see, the rust is a lot worse on this side, but that'll get me by for the meantime. Better than no floor at all. And then I'll see about doing something a little bit better quality and a little bit more permanent. But with any luck, this should get me home. And yeah, that's it. That's my dodgy floors. So from here, I'm going to do a bit more work on the interior. I'm going to probably check out this loom and see what the deal with that is, see what I'm missing, because I need to know what bits and pieces I'm missing. So I've got headlights and wipers and whatever else. So I'm going to get stuck into that and see what mess I find under the dash. Bye.